Hi everyone, it's me, Fernando Mata. I'm sorry I didn't upload anything the last 2 weeks. I've been feeling sick a bit. I've been coughing a lot. I've had a runny nose. My throat's been hurting, and I've been having trouble like talking or eating. But now I am feeling a little better. I'm still coughing a bit. My runny nose is going away, so that's good. And I was gonna load this video on Friday, but I was busy at that time. So right, I feel like right now is probably the best time I have. So you may remember I did a video on my top 10 favorite non-Disney animated movies and my top 10 Pixar movies, but, but today we're gonna talk about my top 10 favorite Disney movies because it's left a Disney has left Disney and their films have left a huge impact on me. I love them really much. Like it is like my top one favorite animation studio, movies, shows, just period. They left a huge impact on me in my childhood, now my now, now my teenage phase. But to be honest, I never want back then I never did anything like this because even I didn't know what my favorite ones are. I knew these because I liked a lot of them. I knew like two Disney films that I love, oh, that I really love, and they're in this list. But I didn't know like my like my top 10 favorite, and that was kind of one of the reasons why I did like my ranking list. If you see it on my YouTube post. Cause every time I like list a film, I'm like, I kind of like this one, another film better, or there's just another film I like better. And this was one uh, for like all 63. I didn't have 60 because 64 was Zootopia 2. Ooh, and I was Zootopia 2 was their 64th film, and I didn't see that at the time, so it was up to 1 to 63. So when I was listing them all off, I had like a list of the Disney movies, list off the Disney movies they put like in certain places, like top 30 or 20, something like that. When, when it was up to 63 to 11, like these 10 films were left, and I was like, oh, these are left. And I kind of realized like I didn't like the fact that I kept them on the list. Like I didn't want to put them at like 11. Like when I was still ranking them, like I wanted to keep these films because I feel like I want to rank them higher. Except number one, I knew what my number one favorite was, but the other nine, I was like, oh, like I did the fact that I didn't want to put them lower, that I still kept them up until top 11. So today we're gonna talk about my top 10 favorite Disney movies. No, I'm not gonna include any Pixar movies. I already did that video. And if I did add as Pixar movies, Ratatouille would be above number one of this list. I'm not gonna include any other Disney films like Nightmare Before Christmas or James and the Giant Peach, or Roger Rabbit or Mary Poppins. None of the live action movies or the Disney sequels or Marvel. You get the idea. Like just from the Disney film library. So, number 10, Wreck-It Ralph. This was one of the earliest films I remembered seeing in theaters. The first one I remembered really seeing, I think, was Madagascar 3. And then a lot of other films, Brave and Ice Age 4. And then this film. Similar to Roger Rabbit, like they had like all these famous characters, like there's Sonic and the Pac-Man Ghost, but they're not like the main leads. Like they do a good job like making their own video game characters based on more famous ones. Like You know Ralph is based on Donkey Kong. You know Felix is based on Mario, and what the games, the games in the movie, and you know what they're based on, like Fix a Felix Jr., Mario Kart, Heroes Duty. You know, like you can tell like they're based on like Donkey Kong or Mario Kart, and they do a good job. Like I would believe those are actual games, but the story does work. Like Ralph's a really good lead because he has like this, like his villain title, but he doesn't like embrace it. Like he's not really evil. Like in Megamind or Groot or in Despicable Me, like they have this character who's the villain. Like he's like this anti-hero, but he enjoys being one. Like here it's different. Like he has this villain title, but he doesn't want to be one. And he wants to get like this a medal to symbolize he's a good guy. And then he meets Vanellope, who's also an outcast, and their friendship really works here. And my sister really loves Vanellope. It's like one of her favorite Disney princess and characters. And this is one of the few modern Disney movies where they actually have a good twist villain. Like I do like some of the modern Disney villains, like Mother Gothel or something, but I don't rank them high. Like they're not my favorite Disney villains, like Jafar or Captain Hook or anything. Like this is one of the few twist villains that really work, cause like the antagonist King Candy, like he is really fun. He's not in much of the movie, but he's a fun like antagonist, and this backstory and build up with the character Turbo, and it kind of like symbolizes what Ralph or Vanellope could end up like, because they're also outcasts, and like combining like this character who they build up and this antagonist does work. Like it does make sense why he would have like these codes or anything like that. Like this and this whole world they make, like the station, like with all the video game characters, like it's really creative, and how they enter into another game, like it's really creative. And I do like how in the end, like they just kind of accept their jobs. Like Ralph doesn't like it, but he knows like it's his job. Like the Icelanders they kind of depend on him, and they are nicer to him in the end. So definitely one I've had a huge soft spot for. I always go back, like I the more I see it, the more I really like it. And then the side characters, like they have their own side story. Like Felix and Calhoun, they are really they are really good to see interact. And that side story doesn't like they know when to cut back to Ralph and Vanellope's story and Felix and Calhoun. Like it's still focused on Ralph, but they do show Felix and Calhoun a few times. So it's kind of one of the reasons I kind of went back and forth with Ralph Breaks the Internet. I do like that film, but I feel like it's focused on Ralph and Vanellope a bit too much. Like every time I was like, okay, like can we see like the other characters of, like, I feel like it's focused too much on them. I wish like it cut back to like Felix and Calhoun like in the first movie. So yeah, Wreck-It Ralph is definitely one of my favorite Disney films. Number 9, Zootopia. This is another film I remember seeing in theaters. It's one of the few modern Disney. Yeah, it was one of the few modern films I remembered seeing in theaters, and I have a lot of great memories of that. Like really does feel cinematic, and this whole world they have, like it's really like Zootopia looks amazing. They have like these areas, like the desert place, the dry area, and the ice area, the rainforest. Like it does, like who what mammals live there, and the jokes they make for it. So yeah, it really works. And then the mammal designs, like, they're really good. Like, I love movies where they have like anthropomorphic animals. Like the main, like most of these Disney movies in this list have are focused on animals a bit. So yeah, and then this, and then Nick and Judy's friendship really does work. I love seeing these two interact with one another and the side characters they meet. I do like like prey animals and predators going against each other. Like they find a way to like make it work. Like they have this, like Judy, a prey animal and teaming up with the predator Nick Wilde, and then you and then they have really good backstories. Judy's in the beginning, then Nick in the middle, and like it does have a twist villain and it's done okay, but Bellwether's like not that is not a she's okay in this, but she doesn't work as much as King Candy, but it's done okay. And I do, and Judy's a really good main character. Like when she's done with this case, like she thinks she's done, but like it makes like life worse for the predators, and she quits, and then she like reunites with the her bully in the beginning, and he's a lot nicer though. I think the bully, like getting great, I think he kind of foreshadows Judy's soon to be friendship with Nick, and that's really clever. And I do kind of like how it's just focused on on mammals though. I feel like younger me would have really like I would have really loved it, like if it had like every animal, like birds or reptiles. But I do like how they say that for the sequel, which I like as much. So yeah, it has a really good story, and also like the ZPD, the, wait, the DMV part. Are like well, I remember like being the first clips they put. I remember they had that on YouTube before the film came out. Me and my sister would watch that a lot. The same for the teaser trailer. I remembered watching that a lot. Uh, and I really like Nick Wilde. He's kind of like a Dodger character from Oliver and Company. He's just like sly or snarky. So yeah, again, Zootopia is one of my favorite Disney movies. Number 8, Robin Hood. Same for Zootopia. I like the animal mannerism they have, a bit like the designs. Like the I don't know that much of the Robin Hood story. The only like version I've seen, or I know he's a guy like this adventurer who steals from the rich and gives to the poor. The only other version I seen him in is the Tom and Jerry Robin Hood one movie, which I kind of like. But whenever I hear Robin Hood, this is the first thing that pops in my head. I feel like for most kids, this is their introduction to Robin Hood, and it's not a bad one. Like the animal choices they have, like Robin Hood being a fox, which is clever, and Little John is his bear. The Prince John and Sirtis, they're one of the funniest Disney villains. Like they're one of the funniest Disney villain duos. I really love seeing these two interact. Like yeah, Sirtis isn't in the original stories. But I do like the character they create here. Like Prince John's like he's not like a powerful dictator villain like Napoleon and Animal Farm, but he's like this whiny, wimpy villain paired up with usually calm character who still gets yelled at, and they're it's kind of like Pinky in the Brain a bit. Well, like only if Brain was a bit whinier or something. Like these two are really funny. I always like seeing them. I and I do go back and forth with the sketchiness. This they had, if you know, this was they were using the Xerox method, and I do go back and forth with it. I do kind of smile ear to ear when I see like the sketches when like in 101 Dalmatians, and it is meant to have like that a medieval style. So I think it does work. I could see someone getting like distracted of it, but I don't know. I didn't mind it as a kid. Then the action scenes are really fun. They're not like as huge as other Disney films, but like the sword fights and and chase scenes are always fun. And this is like a really laid back movie. I always feel calm when I watch this movie a bit, and I do remember watching it a lot when I was younger because I love animals. For an introduction to like the Robin Hood story, this is really not a bad one. I, this is probably a good introduction for kids of Robin Hood. I think it really works, and even the side characters really work. Like the Sheriff of Nottingham, like being like this peevish villain. Like he's also really fun to watch, and Friar Tug is really nice, and then and the narrator like he does like he is in the story, like he's narrating it, but he's also like in the middle of the story, like he's in like the tournament and then in jail, and he escapes. So yeah, this Robin Hood's one of my favorite Disney films. I feel like I'm gonna say that for all of them. Number 7, Tarzan. Now this has always been one of my favorite for it. I have had a huge soft spot for it, and the backgrounds are amazing. Like I back then I never knew like Africa. This took place in Africa because I mainly like aware of it like in the savannah a bit. Like, I think there's jungles in Africa, but like the huge environment, like the huge scaling of this, the trees and the rivers, like this could be like mistaken for like like the rainforest there in India, and the story's really good. I've, like Turk and Tantor are really funny, and the song, I felt the Phil Collins songs. I hear people who go are back and forth with his singing, but I don't know. I've always enjoyed it. Like I could see someone like like make fun of this or be divisive with this song, but like You'll Be in My Heart. Like me and my mom loved that song when I was little, and I still do. And and Jane's a really fun and funny character. Kind of, she's always fun to watch. Same for Tarzan, who's who has the emotional moments, and and I do like how he doesn't like swing through like just by branches like in most, like he's like surfboarding it, which is really clever. And and yeah, Clayton isn't like the most detailed Disney, like he's not the, but he is a fun antagonist though. And I do like Tarzan's, like his relationship with his gorilla family, with Kala, and then and with his and with and with Jane and the professor and all that. And like the action scenes are pretty fun. Like I remember as a little kid, I used to be afraid of like the leopard in this, but like those scenes are really intense, but they're also kind of cool. But even like when Tarzan like he has like his showdown with Sabor, like it's done really well. The same for like in the climb, the same when he's like dealing with the baboons, like that feels huge. And when he's fighting Clayton, who probably has the most darkest Disney villain death. Again, this, and it's probably my second favorite Disney film in the Renaissance, and it was like the last one they've done. And I think for their last Renaissance film, it really worked, really holds up. I have heard like people like calling this an underrated movie. I do understand that it is, but I always like, even I don't know like what's an underrated Disney movie back then, because I'm hearing like people saying in like a Ralph, Lilo and Stitch, or even Encanto being called underrated. I, f- I feel like that those are getting like they've had sequels and merchandise, and they're still talked about. I think this would be one of my favorite underrated Disney movies, along with some other ones here. So, yeah, Tarzan's one of my favorites. Number 6 is Lilo and Stitch, because it's Lilo and Stitch. I, I actually have a kind of funny history with this movie, because I mentioned this like in my top 10 favorite my top 10 favorite non-Disney animated movies, like about Lego Movie and Puss in Boots too. Like I was like I like those movies, but I feel like those are kind of I mean, kind of overrated. Like I do like them, but I feel like they're kind of everywhere. I felt this with a lot of animated movies: Lilo and Stitch, Lego Movie, How to Train Your Dragon, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. And then I went and rewatched them. I was like, oh yeah, this is like way better than I remember. Like even when I went to watch the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake, because it was kind of a while since I seen the first film. So after if we finished watching the live action remake, I want to watch the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, because it's been a while. I rewatched it again. I was like, yeah, I kind of take back what I said about it. Like this is a lot better than I remember. Like Lilo Stitch is also been one of those movies I've had the biggest soft spot for. It's really cute and charming. Like the backgrounds are pretty impressive. I hear they use like watercolors, which does fit because it takes place in Hawaii. And I do love Lilo and Nani's relation, like Lilo's relationship with Nani and Stitch. It really works. And I do like the foreshadowing, like Stitch being an outcast. Like when after he bites Gantu, he's like, "Does this look infected?" And then later, like when we cut back to Lilo, and then Myrtle's like, "Does this look infected?" After she bites her, like it does foreshadow like they're both outcasts, and I really like that detail. Jumba and Pleakley are really funny. My family does quote like I remember we used to quote the Ohana thing, and it's like really emotional than I remember when I was younger. Like when Nani sings to Lilo, or like when Stitch leaves, like it's still like really pretty emotional though. Yeah. Like Stitch is really funny, and he's both really funny, cute, and a little threatening, because like they say like he's like this dangerous alien, but he's still like cute and in this cute and entertaining though. And Jumbo and Pleakley are really funny. Like I remember we used to quote like the part where Pleakley has like the wig and Jumbo wants it. Like that, like my like we would quote that a lot. Mm. And I do remember watching this movie a lot when I was younger, and it does get better and better the more I watch it. So yeah, Lilo and Stitch is one of my favorites. Number 5, The Jungle Book. A few years ago, I remember like asking my mom like, "What was the first Disney film I watched?" And I remember her saying like, "I think it was Jungle Book." And now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I really like this movie because I remember watching it a lot when I was younger. Cause yeah, I love animals. And again, like in Robin Hood, I don't mind the sketchy like design, like the pencil sketches. Like it never bothered me. I do like seeing it, like in Disney movies. And yeah. And this is like really different from the original book. Because if you know Walt Disney, like when he bought the rights to the book, he had his own version of the movie. Like, like he he wanted to have like a lighter tone because the book is dark. And I do like that story, but whenever I hear like the story of the Jungle Book, this is always the first thing that pops in my head. But I still remembered all the characters, not like Baloo, Bagheera, Shere Khan, Kaa, King Louie, Colonel Hati, the vultures, Mowgli. I like I don't know, I like them. I remember what. Yeah, I remember always watching this movie a lot when I was younger. Well, like it, like they have like all these characters like that their own like characteristic, and it works. Like Bagheera being like the serious teacher, but Baloo being like the laid back guy, Shere Khan being like this this kind of calm, but he still knows like he's really threatening. He's Cobb being like this funny antagonist, the elephants being the marching army, the monkey as the jazz singers, the vultures as the Beatles, and yeah, it does have that like that story or like one character, like this one different character, like he meets one character, they interact a bit, and they move on to another character. I I remember like when I rewatched Alice in Wonderland, I do like that movie a lot, but I remember watching it, I was like, yeah, this is a little boring than I remember. I still really like that film, but I don't know. I just kind of have that feeling a bit. No, it still has like this movie does still have that feeling like there's still like this like Mowgli meets one character, they interact for a bit, he moves on to another one. I don't know, I never minded a bit. And I love like Mowgli's relationship with Baloo. It's really fun and enjoy and charming. And the songs are done by some of the songs are done by the Sherman Brothers. And if you know, they done like Mary Poppins or In the Stone. Like, I still like remember these songs. Like I want to be like you, Trust in Me, and Bare Necessities. I think they didn't make that. I think someone else made that song. I like the Sherman Brothers didn't make that song, but I don't know, it's really like the songs are always fun to listen to. To I do love movies like with animals, and this is one of my favorites. It's one of those Disney films that like I've always had like the biggest soft spot for. Like it was like one of the plus I didn't want the fact that I didn't want to put this lower like top 20 or like 30s. Like I wanted to keep it higher. So yeah, it's in my top 5 and it's one of my favorite Disney films. Number 4, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. This is one of the Disney movies I mentioned. Like this is like I knew it was gonna be in my top 10. I remember watching this movie so many times, and I really love it. And if you know, this was around the time of World War II, I think. Like they made Snow White and Pinocchio, and Fantasia was their first film where like it doesn't have like a single narrative story. Like they had like multiple like stories in that. Then they made Dumbo and Bambi. Then after that, they made like a lot of films that didn't have a single narrative. They're kind of like trying to be like Fantasia a bit, like Melody Time, Fun and Fancy Free, Three Caballeros, Salidos Amigos. If you know, you know. This was like one of 2 Disney movies that that had only two stories in it. One was Fun and Fancy Free. Then in the middle was Melody Time, which had a lot like there like fun. They made Fun and Fancy Free, which had only two stories, and then they made Melody Time, which had multiple stories, and then there's this one, Ichabod and Mr. Toad, and this is probably my least favorite Disney era. I don't hate these movies, but I kind of like whenever I watch some of these movies, I'm like, I kind of like Disney movies where they have like a single narrative, like one story, because it does get like, I do get sometimes a little bored of it, or when a segment goes on a little too long. But this, I hear like this movie is like one of the few like package age films that people don't mind, and I don't mind it because I really love it. Like even though it had like the two stories in this, one in the Willows and the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, to be honest, are different stories because one of them is about talking animals, and it's really calm and stuff. And this other, it all has its calm theme, but it's a dark narrative atmosphere. Like they kind of go a little well with it, honestly. Like like whenever I hear like the stories of Wind in the Willows and Sleepy Hollow, these are always the first versions that pop in my head. And then they got me into the original books. Like I don't read them a lot, but I do like those stories. And they made me like get into like other versions of it, but these are always my favorite. This is always my favorite adaptation of Wind in the Willows and The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Like Wind in the Will, like, it's really simple, but I don't mind it. Like in Wind in the Willows, like the characters are a lot of fun. Toad is enjoyably crazy. Molly and Rat are really funny. Same for the horse, for Cyril. I mean, and it does have this fun chase scene, which they do reuse in the Jungle Book. Again, if you know, like, but Mr. Toad probably has to do like one of my favorite Disney characters. He's really fun and crazy, and the Merrily song is probably one of my favorite Disney songs. Like it's really fun and upbeat. I remember hearing that song a lot. And The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, like it doesn't have like nobody talks, but like Bing Crosby narrating this, like it really does work. Like they don't these characters don't talk, but you understand them. Like like Ichabod, Brown Bones, and Green Tree, like you understand their characters, like by their expressions. It still has like that dark atmosphere, which is a lot of fun. I remember a part of me, like younger me, was afraid of these parts, but again, it's really fun to watch. And then the Headless Horseman chase, like the Headless Horseman has to be like my favorite monster because a lot of people are like their favorite like are a werewolf or vampire. But the Headless Horseman's always my favorite monster, and this chase scene's a lot of fun. It's like it's creepy and it's funny at the same time. It's really fun. I remember watching this movie so many times. So yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. Number 3, The Emperor's New Groove. Yeah, this is another Disney film I remembered watching a lot. Like, yeah, this is arguably one of Disney's most funniest movies. It's really quotable. It's always fun. It's kind of like one of those turn your brain off movies. It just keeps me calm every time I watch it. I really love it for that. And the villains are great. Like Yzma and Kronk. Like they're really funny. I remember quoting my family always quoting those two a lot. They're always fun to watch. And like Cusco's story is good. They have like this jerkus and like kind of this jerk protagonist. Like they know like he is like very like mean, but they don't keep him like very unlikable. He's still really charming. like when he gets like his karma, like he deserves it, but like when he gets like chased by the jaguars or he falls in the bridge, like you kind of know he deserves it, but you don't want him to go through that. Like you still like find this character really charming. Like examples of like, that trope not working is like in the animated Diary of the Wimpy Kid movies, because like Greg is already too unlikable, and when he does get his karma, it's not funny or enjoyable. Like he deserves it, but it's not satisfying. The same for Duck Duck Goose, because like the main character is not enjoyable, and the kids he hangs out with are really annoying. And this is like and their original story for this, like it was gonna be like a more dramatic version of The Prince and the Pauper. I like how it's just like a like it just wants to be like silly, and like it doesn't have to be that serious. Like there are scenes like when Cusco's by himself, but they know not to keep it that serious. Serious. I remember watching this movie so many times when I was younger. I have heard of people calling this underrated, and be honest, I wasn't sure because it's being talked about that much. There's a million memes, but I do understand what people call it underrated. Rated. And the chase scenes are really fun, like the jaguar chase scene, the animal chase scene in the palace, because I love animals. And yeah, this movie's always fun to watch. I always love watching it a lot. And Kronk is just, I know so many people who love that character, and I do too. Like Patrick Warburton has to be like one of my favorite actors. I just love hearing his voice in a cartoon or in live action. It's always fun to listen to, and this character is great. Again, one of my favorites. Number two, The Princess and the Frog. This probably has to be like my favorite Disney fairy tale, because it's both like to have like this Cinderella or Snow White kind of vibe, but it's a modern fairy tale. Like it doesn't go too modern, like in Shrek or anything. Like it's still a fairy tale, and all the songs are great. Like if you were like like if you were to tell me to make like a top 10 favorite, my top 10 favorite, like I made like this playlist of my top 100 favorite Disney songs, and like all the songs in this are in that list. I mean like my top 20 or 10. Like they're all really good. Friends on the Other Side, Almost There, When We're Human, and the Mama Odie song. I forgot that song. Like they're all the songs are catchy, and the villain's really good. This, aside from Coraline, this was the first character I seen played by Keith David. He's one of my favorite actors, and it kind of reminds me of Rio a bit. Like there's these little characters that they have to travel back to something, and they fall in love. And New Orleans looks amazing. Like one of my favorite movies is All Dogs Go to Heaven, and it has kind of like that vibe with it, and it really works. Like Tiana's a good. Tiana and Navina are really good characters. Like I always like seeing these two together, and Charlotte's really funny. It's probably like my favorite Disney princess movie, because I remembered watching this movie a lot. Cause like it's this was like their last one of their last hand drawn films until Winnie the Pooh. Like you really feel that effort, like their last effort though, when you when you know like this is like one of their last hand drawn movies. They are still doing that in 2D, but for hand for one of their last hand drawn films, it really works. I heard like this film didn't do so well, but I think this probably has to be like one of my favorite underrated Disney movies. Cause I do understand like I still understand like is it really underrated? There's still merchandise. It's talked about still, and there's a ride. So yeah, this is one of my favorites. And number one, The Lion King. This is just like for me, this is like just the perfect Disney movie. Like the characters are perfect, the songs are perfect, the animation's perfect, everything's perfect. Like, like the characters, the songs, everything is just so memorable. Like, cause yeah, I love animals, and I like how they have this own society. Like the lions are the are the kings, and the hyenas be like scavengers, kind of. All these characters work so great off each other. There's Simba, Nala, Timon, Pumbaa, Scar, Rafiki, Zazu, Mufasa. Like all these characters work so well. The backgrounds are just so calm. Like I remember watching this movie so many times when I was younger. I remember like one time at a party they were playing it and I was in the kitchen. Like, I was just predicting what was I knew what was gonna happen. Like I was just over here like waiting, like quoting every scene or something. Like this is like just for me the perfect Disney one of the perfect Disney movies. Like the songs are really good. Be Prepared is probably my favorite one, and Scar's probably my favorite Disney villain. Like his design is great, his voice is great. He's really funny, and him and the hyenas. T- Timon and Pumbaa are also really great. They're really funny, and like knowing and having and that James like Mufasa. Like every time I hear James Earl Jones Mufasa, it just feels more powerful. I feel like Zazu's really underrated because he's not a lot in the movie. He's not in that much of the movie. Like he's one of my favorite Disney characters. Like like this like this movie's just so iconic. Like I remember like you just know every scene. The stampede scene, the elephant graveyard, Pride Rock, or the jungle Timon and Pumbaa in. Like this movie's just so iconic, and I always go like the more I watch it, the more better it gets. Like this is like just like my favorite Disney movie. This is it probably it would like comparing this and Ratatouille. This is probably like my second favorite Disney movie because Ratatouille is my favorite Pixar movie, and favorite Disney movie, and Lion King would be like my second favorite. Like this is still a really good movie. And that is it for my top 10. What are your guys' thoughts on it? These are my personal opinions. If let me know what your favorite Disney movies are, and take care.